Greetings, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to the Disney Toastmaster Podcast. Hey, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Melissa. Today marks the beginning of Kungaloosh, our three-part series, and today we start with part one, the Dumbo Ride.
Throughout the series, we'll be unraveling the connections between the Dumbo Ride, Disney characters enjoying a drink on screen, and the now vanished Pleasure Island in downtown Disney.
Join me as your Toastmaster for today's exploration of the ride, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, a cherished classic with a storied past in Disney parks lore.
So raise your glass and your tray tables and prepare for takeoff as we embark on a journey aboard the Dumbo Ride, where fantasies take flight in just 90 seconds. I'm so into this. You think I would be like a pro by now, but I'm totally not.
All right. Kungaloosh.
Kungaloosh. Cheers. So, we are going to be talking about
the Dumbo Ride.
The Dumbo Ride.
The Dumbo Ride. Everyone knows the Dumbo Ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is super classic. And it was more interesting than I think I was expecting necessarily. So, let's just jump in, right? Yeah. Dumbo Ride, because we picked Dumbo Ride, because of course Dumbo gets drunk. And then has kind of a fever nightmare dream with the pink elephant. So we decided, like, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That fits into our, our schema for the day. Yep. So, Dumbo Ride. First one, opened in Disneyland, August 16th, 1955. So, it was supposed to open when the park opened.
It didn't open up with the park?
Nope.
Okay.
It was about a month late because of the flawed prototypes. They didn't work. They were these 700-pound flying elephant vehicles. Didn't work, and they couldn't get it going. So it opened the next month, because the park opened July 17th. Dumbo opened August 16th.
Okay. So
they did not quite. Quickly reworked, obviously, but it did not open with the park. It also didn't open... At Disney World, it didn't open with the park, I don't think, but definitely didn't in Disneyland. So it was Walt Disney World. It was also delayed because of technical difficulties. Every other park, it was an opening day attraction.
Okay.
So we're talking Tokyo, Paris, Hong Kong, Shanghai. It was there when the gates were opened. Mm-hmm. It was just the two U.S. parks. The first two parks, they couldn't get their stuff together to get this ride functioning.
It's so cool about like the Dumbo Ride. Like the other reason we picked this too is like every single time you saw anything, like any sort of promotion, any sort of commercial talking about like a trip to Walt Disney World, the Dumbo Ride thing was like, oh, look at me, I'm holding my kid on Dumbo.
Everybody, yeah.
Every single one.
I think it's still in the ads.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Today. It's an icon. It's totally an icon.
Like, and that's, kind of the dialogue of it. It doesn't get anyone's rating for the best ride. Like, one of the ranking sites, it only got 2.5 stars out of 5 for theme park rides. But everyone still goes there. Mm-hmm. Everyone still rides it. It's got that nostalgia. It's got that visual. It's just, so people love it even though they don't love it.
Well, that's the thing, too. So you think about, like, when all of this started, right? Obviously, social media and things like that were not a thing when the Dumbo Ride came into... Even when we were watching the promos in the 90s or whatever it was. But now, it's since transitioned to that, where it's like, you have to get your thing on Instagram with your kid on the Dumbo Ride. Like, it's just part of it now.
It is. Well... So, and the history is kind of fun. So, and there is also one of these ride vehicles is in the Smithsonian. National Museum of American History. I've actually seen it there. There is a Dumbo Ride vehicle and there's a teacup. Because at the park's 50th anniversary, they decided for the 50th anniversary to that it was just, this is an American landmark. It's the quote I found in an article about was a national trust of mainstream cultural values and a community of memory for the American people.
Okay.
So, and even a hub of American myths. So this was said by Margaret King, Stephen Fielman, and John Schultz so Disney was just Disneyland, Disney World. They were just cultural icons, and it deserved to be part of the National Museum of American History.
Okay.
Because
That's
at the
cool.
time it was very much American history
Oh yeah, for sure.
for when that was going in. So when that was happening, they actually sent museum pros that worked with Disneyland reps, and they like wandered around the park thinking, what are we going to steal? Donate. They didn't steal anything.
Right.
But they did. They just walked around the park looking for what's going to be the right fit. What's going to be the best thing that's going to be impressive that we can put in a museum that's going to convey the right feel,
Okay.
the right weight. And apparently the teacup made it in there too. But
Teacup is another one too. That's like one that you see on everything too. Like it's Teacup and Dumbo.
yeah.
And then whatever the new thing is. It's like,
Whatever they're selling,
Yeah.
the ride skipper.
dinosaur.
But they said they were going around, but they were watching people interacting with the Dumbo ride, and everyone was smiling. People watching other people ride, people getting on, getting off, people on it. Everyone was just happy, and that's when they kind of cemented in, this is the right one.
Okay.
This is the ride that we want to take a piece of. So they had to truck it across the country and get it in the museum. And of course, Mickey Mouse was there when there was like a big party at the Smithsonian unveiling the new exhibit with special guest Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse was there too. Is he in the Smith? Oh, he should totally be in the Smithsonian
I
too.
mean, he was one night.
He's still trapped there. It's like,
But so the ride itself, for those of you, some people have not been to Disney World or
Okay.
Disneyland or
Yeah.
Disney anything, right? You've probably seen it somewhere, but the ride itself, currently 16 ride vehicles, 16 elephants, all connected to a rotating hub.
that's on one of them going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each circle is a ride.
Okay.
So what's at Disney World now is there's 2 rides.
Right.
They're both Dumbo, but they're completely separate ride vehicles,
Yeah,
separate
yeah.
builds and everything. So there's a hydraulic ram that the whole thing goes up and down, and then there's a joystick in the vehicle where you can maneuver how high or low you want to go.
All right. Yep.
So that is kind of the base, and it rotates counterclockwise at a constant rate, except for apparently the new Walt Disney World version. So they all went counterclockwise, but now when they put 2 next to each other in Walt Disney World, that didn't look the best.
Oh, so
now
one goes
they
the other
meet
way.
in the middle. One is clockwise,
Oh.
one is counterclockwise.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
otherwise, they're all going the same direction.
There you go. There's your fun fact. Like one goes the other way.
One goes clockwise.
When did they add? Do you know when they added the second one?
I do.
Okay. Look at that. Look at that transition. Let's go.
I'm not there yet, but I do know.
I'm not there yet. Hang on. More after this.
In the middle, you got Timothy Q. Mouse,
Oh yeah. I was
right?
gonna say,
He's
yep.
in the center.
Yep.
He's running the show. Most of the Dumbo rides, it's him on an hot air balloon with a magic feather.
Oh, okay.
There
Yep.
are a couple, Disneyland, and then also it opened at Disneyland and also in Tokyo. He's on a disco ball with a training whip.
A disco ball.
And he's got a whip, which I kind of get why they
All right.
decided maybe a feather is better than a whip
Yeah.
on a kid's ride. Like, that's kind of a strong something to put out there in the world.
Yeah. I don't. And honestly, I don't remember Timothy Mouse whipping Dumbo either. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even like a part of the movie.
I don't think there's good cinematic accuracy. I think that's a good call. But when it opened at Disneyland, there were only 10 elephants.
Oh, okay.
So the most fun part, I think, is that when it was initially designed, they were going with, okay, there's only one Dumbo. There's only one Mickey Mouse. There's only one Donald Duck. So we can't put a bunch of Dumbos in one ride. So they were actually designed to be the pink elephant nightmare. You were supposed to fly on the pink elephants, not on Dumbo.
No, really? I didn't
There
know
is
that.
actually, I have a photo of one of the initial posters when they were developing this, and they're pink.
No way.
They're pink elephants. And then somebody decided maybe a ride based off of an underage elephant getting drunk
Not a great idea.
and hallucinating, dreaming, depending on who you ask. Maybe that's not what we want to put out there, and then they changed it to Dumbo
Okay.
and changed the color scheme.
Yep.
They also they were initially, the ears were supposed to flap.
Oh, okay. That would
He
be
was
cool.
supposed to fly like he does in the movie. Never worked.
Okay. That didn't work. Yeah.
There are, again, I have a picture where you can see the kind of seam and where the ears were supposed to flap. They opened with those ride vehicles, and I think they kept them for a couple of years, and then eventually when they replaced them the first time, they put just static ears in.
Oh,
Because
okay.
even though they had that seam with the intention of flapping, they never flapped. Because it just was another thing that didn't work with this ride.
That makes sense. Whoa, wait, hold on. I just remembered something. Pause. Oh, hold your drink. Hold me.
Hold your liquor.
Yeah, which I can't. I've seen better everything. I've seen
We got our Dumbo. His little ears were supposed to flap. And they did. There's even... So you can find it. There's video of an episode from the first season of the Mickey Mouse Club.
Okay.
They did the Anything Can Happen Day episode, and I watched it. There's a song where they're talking about, they're kind of like promoting stuff that might be on the ride, and the kids you see the Dumbo ride vehicle, and you see its ears flap.
No way, really?
Yeah.
So they worked it's like one of those things that just wasn't sustainable for it to like work all the time.
Yeah.
365 days a year.
Well, they at least got it to work for the demonstration that they put the Mickey Mouse Club kids in.
Okay.
You know, I think that vehicle might not have even been, I don't know if it was on the hydraulics. I don't know if it was on the ride or if they just brought him into where they were doing their prep work.
Right.
And made him flap because it obviously worked in there. So there's also fun. So at the beginning for Disneyland, Blaine Gibson was sculpting Timothy Q. Mouse.
Okay.
And apparently he got mad. He came in the next day. So when his sculpt was drying, it had to be completely sealed off. No air, no moisture. Don't unseal this like Tupperware, right? He came in and there's a crack in it because someone had peeked. But then he figured out who peeked, and it was Walt Disney himself.
No.
I was like, I can't be mad. He was like, I'm not mad. He pays the bills. Like, that's okay. So, like, Walt Disney couldn't hold himself in. He had to get a peek in the Timothy Q. Mouse.
Sad.
But yeah, see, you can see some of the pictures because we're editing and pausing anywhere. There's some of the pink elephants.
Oh my gosh, you can really, there really are pink elephants.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's the Smithsonian.
Okay. That's cool.
There is another
pink one.
Pink elephant. Yeah. And there it went to static.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the hinge there.
Oh, yeah, you can see it there.
And I've got the link for that video from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Nice. Love it. Funny story. So my wife is very afraid of heights, and we went there for the first time with our daughter, and she was a year and a half old or something like that. She wanted to be the person that got her picture with the Dumbo and her daughter, right? She couldn't. She got up there, she got in the vehicle, and then she got out.
Oh.
She was that close. That's how much she wanted to get the picture, was that she was like braving her fear of height to do it. And then she's like, nope, can't do it.
Well, yeah, especially because the adult has to be on the outside. Mm-hmm. You can't even be on the inside where you've got that, more wall protecting you.
You can't use your child as protection. It's not okay. No.
Oh, and you said everyone wants their picture in the Dumbo ride, right?
Right. Yeah.
There was one person who didn't. Famously, in 1957, President Harry Truman declined to ride the Dumbo ride when he was at the park because the elephant was a Republican symbol and he did not want to be associated
Oh my gosh.
with a Republican symbol.
Oh man.
So he was at the park and he did not ride Dumbo.
All right. Yeah. And just see like one of his constituents putting up this look, he likes Dumbo. Yeah. No.
I mean, I think it's a little extreme.
That is
Maybe he
extreme.
was actually afraid of heights and this was his excuse.
There you go. No, I like that idea.
So that after that, of course, there were a lot of visual changes because this is a ride that's been there since 1955. So it's changed a ton. So that started, starting with, this is the history from Disneyland because that's the one that's been there the longest. So first in the 60s, 63, 64, they got new elephants without the hinges in the ears since the hinges didn't work. So they had hinged ears that didn't flap from
Okay.
1955 to 1963.
So they were still there. They just didn't do anything.
They just didn't do anything.
Okay.
They changed the eyes a couple times. They changed the eyes from what they were, which is a blue iris with a small black pupil, to just a big black pupil, and then they went back again in 1988. So I don't know what's going on with that. They, in the 70s, they had a plan to change it to Dumbo's Circus Land, and they even showed it on Disneyland Presents, a preview of coming attractions, and then nixed it. They said, never mind, we're going to put it on TV, and then we're not going to do it. In 1978, there was some more redesign. The clothing color changed to a 3-color palette. They changed the center. In 1983, they moved the whole thing. They moved it to where Skull Rock used to be. And so the original location of where Dumbo is in Disneyland is now a shortcut to Frontierland.
Oh, okay.
So it changed
So
locations.
it moved.
Mhm.
Okay.
And apparently when they rebuilt it with some of these new lines, Tony Baxter said it was a kinetic toy maker-like design, which apparently Tony Baxter said it looked like one of Geppetto's inventions.
Okay. All right.
And then in the 1990, because they had taken it down to a 3-color palette, they took it back to a 16 rainbow colors. So I don't know.
Okay.
And that's when the magic feather happened, because it started with the whip.
Oh, okay. So they all had the whip at one point?
No.
Oh, okay.
In I think the one at Disney World opened with the feather.
Oh, okay.
The only ones that had the whips, I think, were Disneyland and Tokyo.
Oh, interesting.
The rest had the feather. And then Disneyland didn't upgrade to
But
that
then they
feather until
switched-
1990.
Oh, okay. So they switched at that point.
Oh, and you know why
Still
they
disco
did?
ball?
You know what? I actually don't know. We'll have to look at a picture. So the reason they had all these changes in 1990 were because there were 2 accidents on the ride.
Oh, let's bring that tone down a little.
So in 1989, at one of the elephants partially separated from a support arm, injuring a couple and their 3-year-old daughter. Quoted as bruises and scrapes.
Okay, that's not too
This
bad.
ride reopened the next day.
Okay.
And then again, so that was March of 1989. In April of 1990, a support arm completely collapsed, injuring a 13-year-old Canadian girl,
Aww.
which they quoted as minor bruises.
Oh, okay.
After that, they closed it. They said, okay, we can't open this again.
Yeah, okay.
This is bad press. So that is when they did some major updates. So at that point in 1990, they closed it. There was a 16-vehicle Dumbo ride ready for Euro Disney. But Euro Disney wasn't going to open until 1992.
Oh, okay.
So they just took it and put it in Disneyland.
Oh,
They said,
okay.
we have 2 years, we can make another one.
Oh, okay.
But we need one right now.
That's that's kind of awesome though.
Yeah. So the one that is in Disneyland now was actually built for Euro Disney. in
Oh, okay,
Paris.
cool.
And then they just replaced that one. So yeah. And if you were
Wait, hold on. Euro Disney.
Euro
Eisner. I'm just gonna say. Eisner.
Is that every time there's an Eisner thing?
Dude, I don't know.
I like it.
The more I learn about Michael Eisner, the more I like him. Like, I feel like that there was a bad rap because of like the end of his career or whatever, and some of the decisions that were made at the end. But like, I don't know. Michael Eisner, I've been watching some of like the things where he was like on before like Magical World of Disney on TV and stuff like that. It's really great. He's really great on the screen. He's like really cool. What is the was it a parade? There was a special for like the 25 year, right? He'll be the 25 year where he was on there, and it's like he goes around to like a whole bunch of different celebrities and asks them to host it, and he's so charming and he's so funny. He's like, he has this like little banter back and forth at the end of it with Robin Williams.
Oh.
And him and Robin Williams, it's like Eisner's doing improv and with Robin Williams, right?
Oh, boy.
And he's laughing, but he's like keeping like the bit going while he's laughing at what Robin Williams is doing, and he's charming. He's like, I don't know, I like
I mean, I
like
remember him. He was the one in charge when I was growing up.
Yep.
So he was the face to me. And I know there's books about him and what he did. And I don't know a ton about Michael Eisner because I was a young child at the time and I was a lot more concerned with the cartoons than the person running.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what's honestly like doing this with you. No, we're going off subject, but like doing this podcast is like one of the things I'm really excited about is learning about certain things like that. Like I'm starting to learn a lot more about Michael Eisner. I want to learn a lot more about like not just like the old men that were Imagineers, but some of the unsung heroes of Imagineering too, like that you're going to hear about and we're going to talk about too. You know, and we don't know anything about it until we learn about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fun of doing this is
I
like,
didn't know any of this stuff about Dumbo.
dude, I love that we're doing a deep dive on Dumbo. Like,
And
that's
there's-
rad.
And there's more.
And there's more, kids.
So, in 1992, there was a Disneyland convention, and if the person who bought this is listening or ever hears this, I want to know, because they sold an original ride vehicle for $16,000 at a Disneyland convention. So
Okay.
for a mere $16,000, you could get a Dumbo vehicle.
I mean, that's a lot of money, but also that's like not, I mean,
But it's not now.
Yeah.
I mean, in 1992, I think it was a lot of money.
oh yeah, no. Yeah, still. But wow, that's
Yep.
rad. I love that.
So then we're going to move on to the other parks, right? So
Yep.
in Walt Disney World, it soft opened without Timothy, and for some reason, the elephants didn't have hats. And I have a photo of that too, which is
weird.
super duper weird. Like,
Yeah.
why did they? And about a year after, they said shortly after they were updated they were given their hats. So who screwed that up? There's no way that was intentional.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
And he apparently had a disco ball added in 1972.
Oh yeah.
That tracks.
72.
That totally makes sense. So in 1993, Disney World updated it to 16 vehicles.
Okay.
Because it, again, opened with 10. They expanded it to 16.
Okay.
Disney World originally did not include the central water feature that is in all of the other Dumbo rides because of the utilidors underneath.
Mm.
So all of the other ones have that water in the center that's got, when you raise up on the ride, you've got the fountain going in the middle. And they couldn't do that at Disney World initially because they would apparently flood the poor workers below. Or they couldn't run the water. I don't know.
Okay.
But because of the utilidors, they couldn't do the water feature initially.
Huh.
But in 2011, that's when they started new Fantasyland construction.
Oh, okay.
And that's when Dumbo moved and expanded to the 2. So Storybook Circus opened in 2012, and this was part of that, and it was expanded ride. So this is where they went from one ride vehicle of 16 to 2. They went, now one's going clockwise, one's going counterclockwise.
Sure.
The big thing is they added that big interactive line with the big top-themed play area.
Huh.
So that is a huge
Yeah.
thing, especially for heat with young kids.
Mhm.
I've never stopped in that play area because I'm in my 40s, so I don't stop there. But I see kids playing there. It's great.
Yep.
And if you're an adult, there's plenty of places to sit, and they'll give you a
Tons.
pager, so
Yep.
your kid can run around, and it'll page you when it's your time to come back and get back in line and do the ride. And it's air conditioned.
Yep, we've done it with our daughter. Had gone in there, and it's a great place to kind of like a secret place that a bunch of people go to when it's raining, even just to like go do something with your kid. Like you could totally just duck in there, go play in the playground, and not go on the ride if that's not really what you want to do. But like, yeah, it's totally cool. It is chill. Tons. You're right. Tons
Yeah.
of seating. Like, really good place to hang out and keep your kid entertained if there's a long ride.
Yeah.
A long line because they paid you,
Yes.
and then you go get in the line, like a much shorter line. So.
So, and with this, now that there were 2 ride vehicles instead of 1, they moved Timothy and the Magic Feather to the attraction marquee. Because there can't be 2 Timothys.
Oh, okay.
Even though there's 32 Dumbos now. There's still only one
You're right.
Timothy.
Why? Okay. Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's why that was the reason for the concept with the pink elephants. So
Well, yeah,
that's
exactly.
you can have, because in the pink elephants on parade thing, they're just like a million elephants going everywhere. So they're all pink, and that's why there's a million of them. And they're like, this is a really bad idea. Nobody wants to do the pink elephants. Let's just do this instead.
No child would have looked at the pink elephants and said, I want a drink so I can see that.
Well, yeah.
Like,
But you want to
it
ride.
would have been fine.
But you don't want to ride Dumbo. You want to ride Dumbo. You don't want to
Well-
ride like the illusion of Dumbo, I guess.
I mean, I don't. If you didn't ever have the chance to ride Dumbo,
Yeah.
you wouldn't realize you're not riding Dumbo.
Right. That's true. I don't know. I think, but at the same time, you're right though with like the idea that you can only have one Timothy, but there's 32 Dumbos because there's 2 of them, right? So there's 32 in Walt Disney
Yeah,
World.
right,
Yeah.
right. And almost everywhere else, there's 16, except for Tokyo. Tokyo, strangely enough, apparently is still a replica of the Walt Disney World 1971 version. With hats. Remember, they forgot their hats at first?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So Tokyo only has 10 vehicles. Timothy's on a disco ball with a whip.
Really?
It is a replica of the old version. It's the only place you can see that.
That's kind of cool.
Which I don't know why.
Yeah, you think they would want? I imagine that you look at wait times and whatever. For that, I bet you they're just astonishing.
We did, because we skipped it. I wish I had gone and at least looked at it now.
Yeah,
when we
knowing
were
that
there.
it was like the old school one.
Yeah, knowing it was the only one like that. So yeah, that's where he's got a whip. Shanghai Disney is the only park where it is not in Fantasyland.
Okay.
Dumbo is in the Gardens of Imagination instead.
Okay.
Everywhere else it's in Fantasyland, because of course it's in Fantasyland.
Makes sense.
So then, of course, touched on the popularity, which you already talked about, that it's not the highest star rated, but it's still like the first ride for a lot of young kids. It's got the appeal. It's in all the commercials. Everyone's still popular. And if they ever open more parks, I'm sure Dumbo will be an opening day attraction.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So for the ride, you spend approximately 2 minutes in the air. Technically, you can fly as high as 17 feet. If you're riding with the child goes on the inside. So if anyone's going to fall out, it's going to be their ditzy parents. The ride will shut down if there's lightning in the area.
Okay.
Because, of course, they're flying in 17 feet in the air in big metal.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Guests do have to do a moderate step over a wall to get into the vehicle. So you can, the current Walt Disney World with the expanded queues, that part is fully wheelchair accessible, but you have to be able to transfer
Oh, okay.
when you get to the ride.
Okay.
And then there are also, somebody mentioned there's 3 different, they're copycat attractions. There's other attractions with
Sure.
flying elephants
Yep.
that are not Dumbo, but they are flying elephants that go in a circle and fly in the air. So there's one, Bulwagi's Flying Adventure in Lion Country Safari.
Okay.
And
they're elephants?
Loxahatchee, Florida. They are elephants. There's also the Amazing Flying Elephants at Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh, is it just? I was just there. You know what? I do remember that. Are they fire truck themed? Is there something to do with like them putting out fires?
I don't know. Apparently they're amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And there's also an Elephant March in Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri.
There you go.
There are copycats.
And then you just have like the other, pretty much the same ride things that are there too.
The Electric
like,
Carpet.
Yep. The dinosaurs and Triceratops spin. Right. Is that what it's called?
Does that fly? We
Yeah.
don't usually go in that area.
Yeah. That's got like the Triceratops. They go up and down. They're like
See,
the
here's
same.
the difference. Kyle goes to Disney with a child. I do not. I go to Disney as a child. So we do target different things when we go to parks.
I love that you say that I go as a child. That's perfect.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That was awesome. Is that the end?
That's it. That's it for Dumbo.
That's awesome. I learned so much about Dumbo, and I love you for that. Thank you.
Aw, I love you too, Kyle. Yeah, so, there's all my Dumbo pictures.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to put these pictures up and put a link in here so you guys can see
Oh,
it
I
too.
forgot to mention, at the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, I think it was Disneyland or Disney World, they painted a single Dumbo gold.
Oh, my. That must have...
Just one.
Oh.
It was a special for the 50 year.
Wow, that's cool. I did not catch that.
Yeah, I think I missed the line in all of my notes. It's in there somewhere.
Well, hey, cheers. Dumbo.
Cheers.
Well, hey, that was our episode on Dumbo. Melissa, thanks for sharing that. That was pretty awesome. Lot to take in there when it comes to Dumbo.
Oh, it was a blast looking into all that stuff. And of course, we connected this in our series mostly from the movie and the fact that Dumbo unwittingly gets a little drunk after he gets some spilled champagne, beer, whatever bubbly it is that falls into the bucket.
He's such a lightweight. I mean, it's like a little, isn't it just like a little spill into like a huge bucket? But he's like a baby though, I guess.
It's like a bottle, and he is a baby.
That's true. A baby elephant getting drunk on a Disney.
It all went to his ears.
This episode's starting to go to my head. So, thank you guys. We'll catch you next time. Our next episode's going to be about
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island. So stay tuned. We'll have that episode up for you soon. Talk to you later.